Hello Sumate, you're welcome to another tutorial. Now in this video we'll be learning how to make a straight pencil skirt, a very fitted one. So yeah, what I'm doing is I took half an inch off out of the upper part of the paper, then from my waist, from the waist to the next line is my hip line, and it is 9 inches for the client I'm working with. Then from the hip line to the under butt, I have my waist, my hip line, my under butt line, then the hem line, which is the length of the skirt. Now from my waist to my hip line is 9 inches. From my hip line to the under butt is 8 inches. Now here is the thing. If you want to get your under butt, whatsoever you get as your hip line, minus an inch from it to get your under butt. That's the standard to calculate it. Let's assume you get 12 for your hip point. You minus 1 inch from it, it will give you 11. Now you can see what I did here. It is 9 inches. You can see that is 9 inches to the hip line. From the hip line to the under butt is 17. That's because I minus 1 inch from the 9 inches to get the under butt, and 9 plus 8 will give you 17. So that's that. I went ahead to roll my lines across. So the next thing I will do is to take my waist measurement. The quarter of the waist measurement I'm working with is 10 inches. Now I will measure 10 inches. Now the hip line, there's the waist part. Now from there to the hip line, no, I said the distance is 9 inches, right? Now the hip line measurement of the client is 12 and quarter, which is 12.25. Now there is a reason why the under butt line is there. So now I will go to the under butt line. I will minus from the hip measurement to get my under butt line, because I want it very firm and to bring the fitting out. So I'm removing 3/4 of an inch. So if I remove 3/4 of an inch from 12.5, I'll have 11.5 as marked there. So that 11.5 is what I will mark at the hem of my draft. Yes, I can decide to also minus from the 11.5 to get the hem, but no, I don't want it to fitted or too tight, because I'm using Ankara. I want the person to be able to walk. And the tightening at the under butt, I minus just 3 inches and 3/4 of an inch from. You can decide to minus more, you can decide to minus just half, it depends on you. So you connect. You see how I'm placing my ruler? You place it the other way to connect from the waist to the hip like this. Then you turn it upside down to connect from the hip to the under butt line. Then after that, now to get your hem line, I will not just rule a straight line to the under butt line. It's going to have a sharp edge. So you know, whatsoever I get at the under butt is what I'm measuring my hem line. So I came upwards to get the same measurement and roll a straight line to that point before using my curve ruler to actually make a nice curve for the other part of it. So you can see how it came out very well. So the next thing I'll do is to take my dart intake. So yeah, after taking my dart intake, now on this dart intake I'm taking, I will have to return it to the other side. Now the reason I'm returning it is because I didn't add that intake to the waist measurement. The 10 inches I use is the exact client's measurement I'm working with. So, and I took 1 inch of that from it. So I have to return it so that I will not have any shortage at the end of the day. So yeah, after adding the 1 inch for that intake, I will add my seam allowance. Now my seam allowance is 1.5, like I've always used in my video, because I would rather that the allowance is too much, then I trim off, than is not enough. So yeah, you place your ruler the same way, then you connect your lines So you can see how it's done. Please, if you have any question, ask. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you find this video helpful. Please like, comment, and share. If you have any suggestion to better my video, I will appreciate that. So this is all about it. Let's go and make the back. So here is the back pattern. Now, as you can see, I've already ruled my zipper allowance out. I've ruled it out. You can see how it is. I already ruled it out. Then I'll place the front pattern from the zipper allowance. I'll place the front pattern from the zipper allowance, right? Because yes, I have to do my tightening, my zipper tightening, then I'll mark my hip line out of it. The reason is because I don't want to start drafting all over again. It's going to take so much time. So to save us time, I'll just place it on a fresh paper to get the back pattern. So you can see I'm already tracing it out with the allowance and everything, even the dots. So the next thing I will do, you know, the dots, it has to reflect on the same position in the back pattern. So that's why I'm using my tracing wheel, because if you use this tracing wheel, everything will go to the other pattern, the other paper exactly. So after using my tracing wheel to trace it out, I'm going to use my ruler too and my marker to highlight the dot line. So after that, we'll do the zipper tightening. Now don't forget that I always use 3/4 of an inch for my zipper tightening. Now from the 1.5 I rule out for the zipper allowance. From the waist part, I will mark 3/4 of an inch from it. From the edge of the paper, you see what I'm doing? Come down by 5 inch. That's the standard. Then you connect. That's just the standard. This is how to do it for anybody. You come down by 5 inch to connect. So this 3/4 of an inch we've just removed, I will come to the side of my measurement and I will add it back. That's why I marked the hip line to serve as a guide, because I'm connecting it to the hip line, right? So yeah, this is what you get. So by the time you finish cutting the zipper allowance from the other part, you still have it at this side, because when you are facing your zip, you are still taking that 1.5 from top to the bottom of your material that you're working with, right? So yeah, this is what I just did. Then after you cut out, this is everything about making a skirt pattern. It's very easy to make, very less time consuming. Also, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you very much for sticking behind.